What's going on, everybody? A little abrupt short kick of the music over there. Happy Monday. What's going on? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. So excited to be here with you today, wherever you are in the world right now. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm glad that you are here. It is good that you're here. It is great that you are here. Bitcoin trading at $56,700. Looks great to me. Let's talk about it in detail and make sure everyone walks away from this session just being a little sharper than they were before they came here. There's a lot of important stuff to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to get into the severity of it or of not today. So listen, when we see things like if you guys were lightly leveraged, you were not liquidated. I survived liquidation by $30. I mean, if you survived liquidation by $30, you are not doing this correctly. You are doing this wrong. Whatever you're doing, you should stop. You should watch the CTM live training session, how to trade Bitcoin lightly leveraged. And then you have to invest your time. You have to watch each and every episode that we do here. If you want it, that's up to you. If you want it or not, if you're going to make that investment in yourself and in your knowledge and in your clarity, you're going to walk away from this Bitcoin bull market and have achieved every goal that you need to achieve. And if you don't know what those goals are, since we're about halfway through in duration of this bull market phase, we haven't yet begun the parabolic move, and we have not yet begun the vertical blow off top. There's still, Bitcoin is cheap, IMO. Bitcoin is cheap in my opinion, trading currently under the coming bear market low. That's the way I see it. We'll see as it unfolds. Listen, that's only to help you out of love. Because I saw yesterday, you got lucky to be so far in that position with the $30, just in there by $30. You can't get liquidated under all costs. That's the important piece here. And I saw over the weekend, we had $1 billion in Bitcoin liquidations, almost 10 billion across the space as a whole. Or was it even higher on Bitcoin alone? I don't know because I really don't care. As you all know, if you followed me on Twitter, right? But I did have everyone prepared for this possible shakeout at this particular time. Actually, on Friday, we spent a great deal of time on Friday as Bitcoin is trading at 61,000, talking about the downside risk, where you have to, if you hadn't already, lightened up from fully leveraged and more, where 58,500, talking about that in detail, making sure that everyone was prepared as always. There were too many people liquidated. There were 1 million people liquidated. There were too many people liquidated, taking risks, gambling, not planning accordingly to do what they need to do to walk away here, achieving great things. I want to make sure if you're listening here right now, that you're one of the people who's on the right side of the market at all times, at all costs, doing whatever it takes to achieve your goals. That's what's important to me. That's what's important to me. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how far do I think that this drawdown lasts? You know, how soon it recovers, what the next steps on Bitcoin are. You know, consult those who have a history of being correct, right? I was telling my wife over the weekend, I was like, oh my goodness, look at this guy. A super close friend of mine told me that, like, you know what, he really enjoys, I think it's Crypto. The guy's a good guy. And he says things throughout the show that, like, you know, just get him to think good about life. So I was watching, I showed my wife, the video had like 60 or 80,000 views. And I was like, oh my God, how does this get, what's going on over here? And she's like, well, he uses all these like pretty colors and, like, you know, all this like stuff, and the people like it. If you're here listening, I hope it's because you value the enormous quality of this content shared with you, and that you're not watching it, you know, solely for entertainment purposes. Definitely not financial advice, under entertainment, FYI. But I hope that you're seriously investing in yourself. And it starts with time preference. If you're trying to do things too quickly, you're just in a rush to lose money. If you're doing things too quickly or trying to accomplish great things too quickly, you're taking way too many risks. All right, so let's start off with whatever we're going to start off with. This is from William Clemente. We looked at him on the podcast last week, and he's like, look, I'm not a guy for TA. All I'm seeing, though, is another higher high. And I mean, and I'm like, look, the kid's TA skills are solid. You could see clearly his art over here and what he's drawing and what he sees. And he goes into someone else is like, look, you should really consult TA. It could really help you. He's like, look, yeah, you can keep an eye on it, but look, I really prefer to track capital flows through the market, which could be transparently analyzed. He's focusing on-chain analysts, on-chain capital flows onto Bitcoin, obviously a different time horizon than maybe many of you. But he's like, look, if I just line up the TA, it also matches pretty strongly over here. We said it over and over. And oh, by the way, the captain over here, he wanted to get this message out over here. If you want to avoid being shaken out of your position by stupid FUD like hash rate variance, your only solution is learn how the protocol actually works. No shortcuts. I mean, I retweeted that because it's so important to say. But if you don't, if you're jumping in here and you're like, oh, Bitcoin, you know, price goes up, number goes up, I want to get invested, and you don't understand what Bitcoin is, I mean, that really wasn't even a shakeout. What was it? A 20% move off the all-time high over here? 20% move off the all-time high. I mean, last week, almost each and every episode was spent on talking about be aware, watch out, be careful for a possible shakeout that could occur. You know, the only day I think was on Thursday, after Thursday making the new all-time high, was like, okay, this looks less likely that that's going to happen. And what looks like we have a good chance of moving into the melt your face off move. But that's not what happened on Friday. Before we go any further, I want to make sure everyone saw the analysis that we provided here on this channel before you went into the weekend so that you were prepared. Because if you weren't, I want you to make a decision right now that you're changing everything that you do and think. And you're going to make sure that you commit to doing it right. Let's check this out. Focus. You ready? 8-hour time frame. You're fully positioned and more so, right? Rightfully so. You know, what do you do next? Are you still looking to lighten up the trade if we take out this level, this area of support? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I have to stop the show. I have to stop the show because I'd rather listen to a data nuclear scientist who has the facts and the math to back up his claims that it got. Listen, be very careful about listening to a data nuclear scientist who has kept more people on the wrong side of this trade than almost anyone in the space. If you're looking at lengthening cycles and diminishing returns, and you didn't expect Bitcoin in 2021 to be trading above $20,000, that is almost as irresponsible as you could get. Since that comment's appearing on this content on this show and other people are going to read it, I just want to make sure they understand the risks of following someone who overcomplicates things so much that he confuses himself. Just be very careful about that. All right, let's go back. Wrong. Let's look at Brad's chart over here. You can see that support is coming in around 59. Hold on. I mean, so not exact because again, it's not my chart, but over here it says 58,810 is the area of the support, right? Same area that we're looking at right over here, that horizontal line that we say you gotta lighten up on. Is something wrong if you break that trend line? Well, yeah, I think so. I don't want to be fully positioned and more into Bitcoin if it breaks this trend line right now. You know, maybe what we're looking at then is that shakeout occurring. It looks like that we were past the point of the shakeout. You know, and again, right now, anyone who's fully positioned and more, you know, you're not wrong. You're entirely correct. There's no question about it. But we would have liked to have seen Bitcoin obviously push up a little sooner after it made this breakout, this retest, and was resuming off. This wasn't a successful resume. We made a lower high and are now making a higher low on this little bit of a bull flag that's developing right over there, right? Entirely bullish, but you always want to be watching for when this is no longer uber bullish, right? You can see a breakdown over here, losing that. Oh, you know, anyway, I don't want to get into it. There are people that everybody should have been so prepared. They should have known exactly where to lighten up if they were fully positioned, where to lighten up over there and why, with the greatest accuracy that's possible. Across the internet in the space. Jordan, did you lighten up your leverage position? At what percentage roughly? means you take some losses. Listen, all I'm going to say is I did the work for you. I put out the best tutorial guideline there possibly could be so that you understand what you're doing. And I'm going over the levels each and every day here with you. You have to watch the CTM live session, how to trade lightly leveraged, if you're interested in trading lightly leveraged. Otherwise, it's dangerous out there. There's no question about that. Too many people lost money. No one should have lost money. I feel like and that most of you probably, because we've been talking about it all last week on that video on Friday where I left you talking about, yes, you take losses on the way down when you're trading lightly leveraged. That's the whole point of lightening up your position. And on the repair, you make sure that you're fully positioned and back. This is not strategy number 2 on how to trade the Bitcoin bull market, the bull of all bulls. That is on the drawdowns, you're scaling into the position all the way to 30% down, right? Many of you, I hope, on this pullback over the weekend, we're just sitting over here like, bump, bump. Strategy number 2, how to trade the Bitcoin bull market, right? Trading Bitcoin with no leverage, picking up. This is great. Cheap Bitcoin. I love this, right? That's the attitude that I think that many of you had, and it's the most important. And if you don't, and you don't know what's going on, right, then stop. Stop trading. You have no business trading whatsoever. The market's always going to be there, and there's always going to be opportunity. If you invest in yourself right now, whether that means just watching each and every episode that we do here, or whether or not you want to join the program, work more closely with myself and the CTM community, right, on Discord and be privy to the live, not only the live sessions that occur every week, the training sessions, but each and every past recording, and then spend your time. Or you could go ahead and watch XYZ on YouTube and figure out whatever. I'm sure it's entertaining. I don't know. I don't do it. All right. So what else are we looking at over here today? A lot. We didn't even get started yet. We didn't even get started. In almost every video last week, I warned about a possible shakeout. It wasn't the exchanges. It was recklessly over leveraged speculators. And that's all they were, is reckless and over leveraged speculators. If you're getting liquidated on a move like that in Bitcoin during the bull market, you have no idea what's going on. No idea what's going on. Yeah, this is what we're going to segue into, John, right? We mentioned in the past 2 Bitcoin bull markets, we had sharp sell-offs that led to a rip your face off. Oh, I like rip your face off better than melt your face off rally, right? Was that the sell-off this weekend, right? Is this the sell-off over here that's going to lead to the rip your face off rally that we expect to occur next? Let's take a look at it. I want to focus in on this chart. So those that are just listening right now, we're looking at the halving tracker, right? Which everyone knows you can find on Twitter. This chart, this template, this is the go-to for CTM right over here. It's what led us to be looking at for a possible shakeout to occur. Was this the shakeout? This is the question that we're asking. We're looking at the current cycle over here in blue, and we see price coming back down. In the previous 2 cycles, though, this was more. I wouldn't know what this is. I would say somewhere around 35%. And over here, same thing. I don't know what the degree of the pullback was, but I'm guessing it's over 30%. It's a big one. We just saw a 20% pullback. Is that the shakeout? Right? How soon do we recover and what happens next? Or was this not the shakeout yet? And are we going to make a lower low over here first? Well, here's the first cycle in purple, a little above us. And we know that once we made the all-time high over there, not the all-time high, because this was a double wave, but the last swing high over here, price just went into the rip your face off move. So on the second cycle, though, you saw something else different happen. From that swing high, you saw a lower high and then another lower high, and then you saw the shakeout. Now, both of these shakeouts did occur, by the way, from a descending triangle. We don't have a descending triangle over here this time around. All we have right now is price in the last 57 days, exactly where it was, right around, $56,000. Great consolidation during this epic bull run. By the way, it was Brandon on Crypto Trades and Track. Brandon said a couple of months ago, and Brandon, if you're watching, and big shout out, but you said, hey, listen, there's a possibility that price kind of goes sideways over here. Well, you're right. Price has gone sideways for 2 months in quite a range with a few different waves in that range. But, 57 days ago, price is where it was. super healthy right now. What's next? What's the difference over here between the last 2 cycles and this cycle? Is it degree of the pullback? Let me focus really quick on what happens after that shakeout recovery. I personally am under the belief, let me find it over here. I'm currently under the belief that I don't think we see a 30% shakeout. That a 30% move down over here, that the shakeout was effective. It liquidated a bunch of over leveraged longs. They needed to get on the side before price is able to make its next leg up, right? Again, irresponsibly over leveraged speculators are not super healthy for me and you, super healthy for the market, right? I want to come back to this one over here because even though I don't think that we're going to see a big shakeout, further shakeout over here, we saw that the shakeout occur. Does the possibility exist though that we can see a bigger prolonged drawdown, right? And if that were to occur, what should you be prepared for? That's first before we move on, actually, right? So look, I don't think that's going to happen, but be prepared always. A 30% drawdown right now takes us to 40,000. That's what I'm prepared for. What does that mean? That means my liquidation level is under $40,000, right? I could sleep so easily at night that it's not even a thing. Do I think we're going to see a test of 40 or even is it 38,000? I told you earlier before we made these higher highs over here, that was very strong support. Like that if we saw 40,000, we'd probably see 38,000, a 41% drawdown. I mean, I don't think so. At this point, now that price has risen, I would be very surprised to see 40,000, a 38% drawdown, but I'm prepared for it. My liquidation is under it. And by the way, if all of a sudden we are making a lower low over here from this last weekend shakeout, if we're seeing a lower low, something's not right. Right? I want to make sure that I lighten up further and be on the defensive because that's what you do when you're trading lightly leveraged. And lightly leveraged means you could sleep without the possibility of getting liquidated. Now, yeah, of course, this is why you always have to have orders in because what happens if the model broke? What happens if there's a 50% drawdown on Bitcoin? Are you exiting the Bitcoin trade? Do you think that I could go back what happened in March that was clear, even with Bitcoin coming off 60% in a matter of days, that I wanted to be invested. And anyone that could get money to exchanges at that point, they were buying Bitcoin 38,000, 40,000, 42,000, all the way up toward 50,000, right? What happens if that happened now? I mean, obviously, I give it a very extraordinary low probability of Bitcoin coming off 50% in the bull market phase, right? 30% plus is where we're always looking. Is it possible we come off more than 40%? Look, anything's possible. If that happens, you want to make sure that you are taking losses on your lightly leveraged position and not getting liquidated. So as that thing snaps back up and until this bull market phase is over, that's what I expect is going to happen. That Bitcoin, the bull of all bulls, is going much higher than it is right now. You want to make sure at all costs that you're managing your risk, taking losses on the way down, and then repair on the way up. That's if you're going lightly leveraged, the best way to trade Bitcoin. If you're not there and you just want to make a good investment into Bitcoin without leverage, you're trading this, by the way, as strategy number 2 on 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market. You saw Bitcoin come off 15, 20%. You're scaling in. If it comes off another 25, 30%, you're buying more, right? That's the dip for you to buy on. And this whole period that we're pulling back over here, consolidated, going sideways, you're just getting these massively great long-term entries on Bitcoin. Getting ready over here, looking good. All right. Did you see the Brandon's conversation with Alan on Friday? I watched the whole thing. Amazing information. If you didn't see it, go to Brandon's Crypto Trades and Tech. Before I go any further, I just want everyone to know this is for a really, 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 really special friend. A really special friend to this community. We pray here for this girl, for this woman over here. Please, if you could find it in actually right now, as together as a friend, as a community, if you could just hold in your heart, and bring this. Her name is Leo. Bring her to the Lord and just ask, please, for healing. you know, with all the love for someone who gives everything to this community each and every day. And you know, this show is you know, I just want her to know that she's in our hearts right now. All right, everyone. A lot of judgy haters on this channel. I don't know. I don't care who's judgy. You know, Karen, because God says do not judge. Judge and you will be judged. You know, so listen, just let that be like water off a duck's back. If someone, you know, is judgy, you know, who cares? But what I do care about is making sure everyone is able to ride the bull of all bulls better than everyone else. That's what I really care about. That's what's important to me. That's why I'm kind of taking my time over here, making sure that everyone is able to reflect on what just happened and able to make sure that they continue to be in a position of power. All right. Let me talk about this current shakeout over here, what I see happening and what I think is going to happen next. You know, but could you take a second here and pause and smash that like button? 600 likes in here this morning. Content being shared here you cannot find anywhere else on the internet. This weekend has proven that once again. You saw everyone, by the way, this weekend trying to explain what happened. Did you see that? How many people all of last week were telling you what you should be watching for, right? And then after it happened, how many people did you see trying to explain it? I wasn't out there trying to explain what happened. I told you that, look, all week last week to watch out for it, right? And then after week, everyone's an expert telling you, oh no, but it was the power outage in China with a temporary shutdown in mining. This wasn't a typical sell-off, right? I told you before it happened, I said, if it occurs, there's going to be a narrative to fit it, just like there's going to be at the top of the bull market. The bull market is, the peak of the bull market's coming. I want you to be prepared for it. I want you to understand after it happens, all the experts are going to be out there telling you why it happened, because this fund, you know, had to rebalance their portfolio and it sparked selling. It took out these leveraged longs and then price cascaded. Who cares? It's a narrative. Price tells you what's happening beforehand. I told you this on all of last week. If the shakeout occurs, there's going to be people out there fitting it to a narrative. How many of you spent your time over the weekend trying to find out what happened and what the narrative was? If you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong if that's what you're doing. You don't understand what's going on yet. Fine. Acknowledge that and then start spending your time figuring out what is. That's what we have to do over here. All right. So what happens next? I was bringing your attention to the second cycle over here. That price made 2 lower highs, then had the shakeout coming out of a descending wedge. And it was a quick, sharp recovery, right? Once price took out that last, the second higher low, right? It consolidated. And then when price made the higher high, that's when it shot. It has nothing to do with the last swing high. As we're seeing right now, we've taken out the last swing high and now we're coming in and it looks more like this right here. I can't describe it verbally for those that are just listening. So I'm sorry when I say look over here on this chart, but you have to look at the second cycle where exactly we are right now when price snap back in. If this is what we see and we see the new all-time high taken out over here and that happens this week, at that point, I think we're coming into the rip your face off. That is the base case from here right now for myself. That's the base case, is that the low we saw is the low, right? That sometime this week, relatively soon, we take out the 65,000. And if all that occurs, then it's the rip your face off move. That's my base case without question. Now, that being said, just as I said over the weekend, want everyone to understand that, hold on, let me find it. Well, I can't find it right now. I had it with you earlier, right? Oh yeah. Either way, be prepared. 30% takes us down to 40,000. Lightly leveraged right now, liquidation level at 40,000. You're sitting pretty. Do you think we're going to have a 38% drawdown? No, I do not. I do not think so, right? If we take out this last swing low, does it look like we're recovering as quick or we could see some more pressure? Yep, it looks like we could see some more pressure then. Even if that's the low tick over there and price just barely makes a lower low and then comes back up, at this point, you're playing on adding back on the repair. You need to see a repair before you start adding to that leverage. Right now, you're just holding comfortably. All right. What else? right? Everybody wants Timothy. Everybody wants a narrative. When the information's right in front of you, don't make it complicated. Jordan's laser focused. Be like Jordan. That's what we're doing here together. Here's a look at Brad's chart over here. You could see the breakdown. We said if this happens, something's wrong. On Friday's live stream, you got to lighten up your position if that were to occur, right? And now what happened, right? Do we need to get back above there for the repair to be in place? I think that's a little aggressive. There's no question about it. Once we get back above that line of resistance, at that point, price has repaired itself. You should be fully positioned, maybe even more at that point. I don't think you need to wait to get above the 65 to get back to more. But what happens next? You know, where are we right now? What happens next? It's too soon to see, in my opinion, if we're going to put in any type of trend lines. You have this line over here, right? Knowing breaking above that angle, at that point, price is resuming out of the consolidation, right? Do we add another touch over here? Are we adding something more like this right now? And this is what I say. I mean, that's a very steep line. You know, if that happens, maybe. I think it's a little aggressive for myself right now. Maybe if we have another touch into here later, it'll become clearer. You know, is it possible we see something like this occur, right? You know, is that I mean, that's all possible, but it's too soon. It's too soon. Right now is a place where you should just be holding comfortably, having moved down your liquidation level and just waiting. Right now, you're waiting. It's a waiting game. Everyone wants to take actions and make things happen quicker than they're supposed to. So, all right. An hour. So, brother, then this is not for you. Right? Then Anthony, this is not for you. So listen, brother, the olive branch has been extended to you many times with lots of love. And at this point, it no longer is. See you later. Have a nice life. Bye. You know? And that's that. Because, again, this is too important for people out there not to get right. This is too important for people not to get, oh, yeah, you're so interested. Well, anyway, and that's the case. Bye. No, bye and have a nice life. Talk to you soon, you know, not. It's all good, right? So there we are. No, Anthony, don't come back when silver's at 50. Don't even come back. It's all good, my brother. You know, have a nice life. God bless you. That's that. So what else? You know, we're not going to take a look at the equity markets this morning, right? Which are doing exactly, I mean, it's on autopilot. Everyone knows the dollar had a big move down over here, changing position now to weak dollar, right? The concern here is that we get caught up in this sideways action going forward at this point. We'll reevaluate that at a different point. You know, it's not really that important right now. Gold and silver, we walked you in there at the most critical time, right here and here. Right? So into the resistance, we said we're not taking profits. It's on autopilot. If you need hand holding through this, then you're just so far out of the game that it's ridiculous. And that there's not much else to add about that, right? Gold right now being rejected by the resistance, but we're not ready to look or to attack gold, only silver. Gold only gets attacked if we break out of this to the upside, right? You need hand holding on the metals. If you need hand holding on the metals, then, you know, man, good luck. You know, you're not going to make it. That's all there is, you know? So that's why I'm spending an hour, because the reason I'm spending an hour talking about Bitcoin and what's next is because there's so much noise out there. It's ridiculous. There's a ridiculous amount of noise out there that are getting people warning urgent, you know, and now you got to do something. People going in way more leverage than they should. 1 million people getting liquidated on a 20% move on Bitcoin. If you are fortunate enough to be a part of this community and spend this time together, I want to make sure I bring it as Bitcoin's the rising tide that lifts all boats, right? And CTM, same thing. That's the rising tide that lifts all traders. I want to make sure as many of you as possible, anyone who is open, anyone who is willing, and anyone who wants to better themselves and their life walks away at the top, at the peak of this bull market. First of all, understanding it is a peak, right? Not getting like, oh, it's going to 1 million. Hold on. The FOMO is going to be crazy. The FOMO is going to be real. If the noise is getting to you already, then for you have little chance. So, Yeah, that's part of Andy. But all of you, the beauty of what goes on here, is that everyone is learning these skills for themselves. There's no question we are creating a community here of advanced level traders beyond. You don't find this anywhere else. See the CTM over here, iron sharpens iron. The quality from the community itself is absolutely enormous. This was said over here during the live stream, Brandon and Alan. And JC's here today. JC is like, I never imagined that the training and the quality were so high. Yeah, CTM is exceptional. There's no question about that. And that's what it is, right? So it takes a lot of work. It's done differently than everyone else, right? It's done very differently. And there we go. So just a little bit of update. I was running fever again yesterday. Got some good sleep last night. Definitely still pushing through. Not myself. But last week, seeing what happened over the weekend, and then making sure last week that we were there together each and every day, no matter what was going on. I mean, that makes it all worth it. Seeing on Twitter everyone's awareness. There was a portion of our group, a subset of our group, that I feel like maybe they got a little hurt. And that's the part that's disappointing to me. You could lead a horse to water, but that's it. It's up to you to make all of your decisions and what you're going to do, at the end of the day. So anyway. Bay Trader, CHZ. I don't know what the CHZ is. So, Swiss franc, yeah, but CHZ, no, CHF, yes. Yes, thank you so much. She's doing better. She's doing much better, and able to be with the kids. So grateful for that. Thank you for asking. So what else are we looking at today? Oh, some great comments. That's what we're looking at. There have been some extraordinary. I shared one with my wife. Another was shared with me through Heath this morning. Some witnesses of what CTM is doing and how it's changed their lives, and especially a lot of people with big families. And I'm grateful for that. That hits very close to home. That's why it's important to focus in and do what we do. Because together we're just stronger. We are changing the world. So look at this. Sean saying, look, if we draw that, and Will, by the way, let me, Sean, I'll go into your comment in 1 second. I want to bring up Will's chart over here. This is Will's log scale chart in December or January, the first week of January. If you go to the Bitcoin playlist, it talks about using log scales for our price targets above. I want you to see, if you zoom in over here on Will's chart, this was created the first week of January. You can see that this trend line over here continues to hold. This is a really good look at the log scale at current price action over here. So we have the low of this trend line right now coming in at 52,375. 52,375. The low over here, just above it. So we spiked below it. Here we go. I'm going to draw a line just right over here. I'm going to draw a line over there because there has to be a line right now at the very least or most. It needs to be if price takes out that low over there, that you continue to lighten up your position. Something's not right. We could see, even if it's a quick recovery, that's the best thing ever. Price comes down, goes up, great. On the way up, I could add, and then I could get fully positioned. By the time price makes a new all-time high, I'm fully positioned and more. And then if we have the rip your face off, I'm making bank like no one's business. But right now, I'm trying to protect myself. We all know that we had this breakdown over here. Something's not right. I don't want to be fully positioned at this point. I want to be uber protective of what's going on over here. That's if you're not buying Bitcoin if you're just buying Bitcoin without leverage, you're using that opportunity to buy. There's no question about that. The reason I put that line over there, 52,500, a break below that you see we came back down, we spiked over here, and that line is on the left over here in March 16th, we had a touch. This area, price tried to put in a support, traded below it, then it traded as support, and then again over here. So even not waiting for that touchdown over here, but 5,200, 52,500, that might be a place you say, okay, well, I want to actually lighten it up even further and just make sure you're trading from a position of strength. Sean is saying if you draw a trend line from 58,000 top to the 61,000 top and then clone it. All right, so let's go ahead and do that together. 58,000 is over here. Yeah, all right, let's draw a line first. So by the way, Sean, is that the line you have? I hope that's the line you have, right? So when I was looking also at where's Williams TA over there, that triangle he drew, that's not how I do my TA. Like, it doesn't line up over there because I don't have a touch over here, right? But let me do this over here. Sean, let me clone it like you asked and see if that comes into play anywhere else, right? Is that what you're looking at, Sean? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's really nice. So let me go ahead and just clean that up so everyone can see what Sean is showing us over here. All right. Yeah. I mean, and that's also not two good touches. I wish I could see your chart. I guess actually, I just had to move it up a little bit. That looks all good. And yeah, Sean, I mean, that looks beautiful. So again, when we just talked about 52,500, if we come back down and break that trend line, it's also 52,500. And that's just giving further confirmation, Sean, by looking at it like you did of that spot that I was just watching, that 52,500 spot. So that's really awesome right there. That's interesting. Yeah, is that a bear flag? So listen, everyone knows that I do TA a lot different than everyone else across, I guess, the world, you should say. So bear flags occur on down moves, the way I like down move and then a bear flag, right? That's bearish. Right now we're seeing price consolidating right below the all-time high. That's, in my opinion, that, the way that I do TA, which is totally wrong because no one else does TA like me, right? One touch. You need 3 touches on a trend line to be a valid trend line. What the heck is Jordan doing off of 1 touches, putting in cloned lines? And why do those magic lines why does price always touch them? What's going on? But look, right now we're trading up. Price is trading up. And then as we're trading up, we're putting in this rising channel consolidation. Do I think that's bearish? I do not at all. If price was in a bear market or trading down off the highs and then was consolidating in a bear flag and that breaks down, that's a huge continuation pattern. That's a bearish pattern over here. So that's the way I see it, 100%. So hardest part about price crash is not know what's happening. Maybe, no raw tacos, Willie will, basically just saying that a bunch of people that were over leveraged were liquidated, possibly set off by a false report that, what was the false report put out? It was from FX Hedge. That I don't even care. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter. That's all just noise. Hardest part about the price crash was not knowing why. Oh, I did highlight this though, that I don't understand how it follows the trend so consistently. Why is there a shakeout at this point in the 3 different cycles, right? So we have ICL and he's like, look, I don't understand why that keeps happening. Why is price repeating itself? And I'm like, I have no idea and I don't care. I focus on what is, not why. It's what matters most to me. I don't care why after the fact. I told you watch out before the fact. And so like, whatever. But that's what it is. And I don't care why. And that's great that you wanted to know why, I guess. But does it really matter? What is way more important than why. And that's why we're dialed in, But I guess that's why we don't get the views. All right. The U.S. Treasury Fund. Oh, let me just segue in over to this. Did you see this? Yeah, we got the Central Bank of China, Deputy Governor Li Bo. He's saying that crypto assets such as Bitcoin should be used as investment tools or alternative investments. This is the first time the Chinese government has recognized the asset value of cryptocurrencies. By the way, you just don't, if you're the deputy governor of the Central Bank of China, you don't go out and say something like that without the blessings of the party because they want it to be said. This is as the yuan is being launched digitally around the world. What is China doing and saying as the digital yuan is launched? Are they concerned about Bitcoin and coming against to ban Bitcoin? Or are they saying that actually, you know what? This should be used as an investment tool or alternative investment, right? It's not a currency, but an alternative investment product. China's studying regulatory policies. But what are they concerned about as they launch the digital yuan? They said that stable coins issued by private companies. Is China concerned about Satoshi and the Bitcoin blockchain? Or is China concerned about Jack Ma and Ant Financial, right? Is the U.S. concerned about Bitcoin, or is the U.S. concerned about Mark Zuckerberg and the Libra, right? Stable coins used by private companies, stricter supervision than Bitcoin is required. This is enormous signal right over here that you need to be laser-eyed focused in on, because if you're focused in on, if you're focused in on why Willie is telling you that we saw a shakeout occur in price simply because people were way over leveraged, you're doing it wrong. And I'm just going to be there to tell you, I saw so many people this weekend doing it wrong that it's not even funny. So here we are today, taking the extra time to focus in on what's important. And if you're having fun being focused in on what's not, you're not achieving the same things that we're achieving. That's for sure. So what else over here? We had Truth Capital. We had Gus appearing. I didn't see this one yet. I have it bookmarked here from this morning. I did smash the like button though, that's for sure. Right? We have Gus talking with Brandon on Crypto Trades and Track. Interested in hearing this conversation. Brandon was talking right here about how Janet Yellen keeps spreading all this FUD. Again, focus on signal. Don't focus on noise. That's the important piece over there. I do want to focus on Ken share this. And he's like, listen, Jordan, I'm preparing for something like this. As institutions liquidate longs and eventually shorts, it may spark an exponential stage. I'm open to all things. Talking about a 47% drawdown. I'm looking at your chart and I don't see it. I'm really good at being able to spot and analyze trends. There's nothing that would say to me that after 30%, 36% drawdown, and then a 22% drawdown, going sideways for 2 months, consolidating in a massive bull market, that all of a sudden that I should just see a 40%. Like this doesn't add up to me or anything remotely close. We looked on the downside earlier and what we should be looking at for our downside. I think that we're walking away with the utmost clarity, even building off of Sean's line over there, talking about the 52,500. If that's breached on the way down, why something's not right over here, why it might be a good idea then to be moving down that liquidation level from 40,000, even lower, just making sure whatever happens over here, you're sitting from a position of power. You take losses on the way down, you add and repair on the way up. All right. It's good to notice the shakeout hasn't been as large as the previous cycles. I mean, Max, it's a really good observation when Max talking about that the shakeout wasn't as much as the last two. In my opinion, that's because we've had this double shakeout right over here, right? If you put these two together, that kind of makes up for what we're seeing. So instead of this move over here, this 20% drawdown being a shakeout like you see over here, and then you see in the second cycle over here, I think it more resembles what's happening over here on that second cycle. After the V-shaped recovery, you saw a price briefly consolidate over here, and then finally after touching that resistance once, the second time starting to rip your face off. So let's see if something like that occurs. That's where I think we are right now. So I don't think that this was the shakeout. I I think the shakeout was more resembled this double pullback that we had over here. And then you saw the move up. I think what we're seeing is this right over there. I hope that makes sense for you. If anyone else sees that, what I'm talking about, put a +1 over there. I hope you have that same situational awareness that I do. Jordan, are we losing momentum? Falling? No, we're not losing. We're well between the first two cycles. We're almost at the midpoint of the first two cycles. I don't think we're losing momentum over here at all. I think that this was entirely bullish. If you look at the double wave in the first cycle, did you see when we came off how long we had to consolidate, right? And then even over here in the second cycle, we're still consolidating for over, this is with bad math, somewhere around, let's call it 70 days, for 2 months before being able to start the next leg up. So that fact that price has for 2 months here been consolidating, it's just so bullish to me. That's what I see. It's just so bullish to me. So I don't think that we are losing momentum at all. I think we're just getting ready here for the next leg up. That's what I see. So what else? So I disagree. Well, I can't disagree with that, Thomas. Do I think we're trading right now above the bear market low? I do. I do. I think we're trading below the bear market low. Probably not by much at this point, but I think we're trading below it. And yeah, you could say that. You know what? Price will be higher. But if you listen, Thomas, if you're not timing the market, then you're just like giving away, in my opinion, free money and massive free money, because we've been timing this the whole time, and we've been timing it with laser accuracy, like high level elite sniper accuracy. So if you're not trying to trade like time the bull market, then Thomas, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because you're doing it wrong. Again, we're talking about people who have been able to pay off mortgages, people sending their kids to higher education. And then we're also talking about a whole different subset of people. There are people out there buying like a fraction of a Bitcoin and continuing to learn how to change their life, to change their time preference, and are preparing themselves for the next 4-year cycle. And when that happens, they're going to be leveling up in life. There's no, I firmly believe that. And then you have people who already been with the channel for 7 months, for 12 months, for 14 months, who are already well beyond that, But yeah, the whole point of being this dialed and focused in over here is to do epic life-changing things. It's not to hold Bitcoin as it goes from 57,000 to 350,000 and then back down to 56,000. What is that? That's no. You have to learn to think for yourself. You have to learn how to think creatively. You have to learn to get yourself out of this box that you've been placed into and taught this is life. That's not life. You get to make up your own rules. You get to make up the game. WTI. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful goal over here. That's a beautiful goal over here. That's something to really inspire you, to really get you motivated, right? And that doesn't mean to do things quicker. That means to do things more thoughtful. You'll have much more effective decisions if you wait, if you have that low time preference, if you put the time in and understand what you're doing and why, rather than you're running around like a chicken without a head, just trying to like do something, thinking the more that you do, the more that you're gonna accomplish. Let's check in WTI really quick, okay? Look, there's not much else to say except for this. We broke above the trend line over here. We said that you can't buy till above it. This was a big breakout. This was not a breakout, retest, resumption. It was a big breakout, and then you see price consolidating since. I mean, there's not much else to say. It looks super, super bullish over here. And that's all. There was never an entry that I could have got into. Never an entry I could have got into on a breakout. This was a breakout and a big move up. It's tracking the dollar as the dollar's making a new leg down. Gold and silver on the verge of breaking out with it. And we're seeing that further devaluation of the dollar occur right now across the board. That's what I was thinking, Justin. Let me do it. Justin saying, clone that line, and then we're into some further resistance right now. I'm fading out over here. I'm doing my best every day. I'm doing my best with all of you. That's for sure. Even under these current circumstances, Justin's looking at this, right? And then do you do that again? Is it above here that she really gets to start going into some resistance right now? Again, I just never would have an entry that I could see on this. We were watching this as it was consolidating and said we need to get above that line for the next move up to happen. But that came in fierce. It wasn't breakout yet. Retest, resumption. It was boom, move into the resistance. So never an entry there, that I could see or take. Is XLE? I don't know what XLE is. $1,100 likes. Solid Monday session. It's going to be to whenever that I get the flow back, but that's fine. I'm just trying to work through what I'm working through, and it's super important. By the way, we just don't share here and analyze the markets. And we saw someone really triggered yesterday about the time devoted to Bitcoin. I'm talking about all markets. There's in 2021, who crushed the equity markets better than us? Gold and silver right on time over here. Try, boom, there's the entry as we break out over there, watching, keeping everyone out as they were under pressure. It's whether or not you have the patience. That's all. That look, many are called, few are chosen, and that's just the way it is. But if you want to dig deeper into what we're doing over here, make sure that you're present for all of the live training sessions. Make sure that you're with the Discord community. Alan AU, big shout out joining the Discord. I hear that you're going on Branding and Crypto Trades. Looking forward to watching that episode as well. If you didn't yet watch, Alan on this is Gus over here. I haven't watched it yet, but if you didn't watch Alan on Crypto Trades and Tech, this is a good one over here, right? This is one that you should definitely enjoy this conversation. This is Signal on YouTube. There are so many conversations and information out there, that are just complete distraction. Careful what you're doing, who you're following, what you're watching. There was that Greg Foss interview on Preston's podcast, the Investors Podcast, and he talks about how Bitcoin is priced in the derivatives markets. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. That is stuff that you should be paying attention to and watching. Well, I don't know. There we are. You got it, Stefano. Thank you for and each and every one of you, for doing what we do. 57 minutes and no head snack. How could one focus? Let's throw it out there. Let me pull up head snack and let's bring in the beat to wake me up a little bit and see what's going on, and then we'll see how we bring this around. All right. So I'm gonna drop head snack over here in just a moment. Oh yeah, we got an important comment. So Matta Adams, all right. This is commentary, not analysis, right? But Ills has been right on Bitcoin, just confused where the actual analysis is. Matta, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, because obviously you're new. Look, go back and watch the videos that were put out last week. If you want to see extraordinary, highest level possible analysis, price analysis on Bitcoin, go ahead and watch those 5 videos from last week. You know, some of them were short. I had a fever while I recorded each and every video and you know, shared them with you. But the analysis is absolutely extraordinarily top level. You will never see anything else like it. And that's just the way it is, you know? But if you no, not on your time, on the market's time, right? Right now, what I did with you over this past hour and what I focused in on is the single most important thing as an investor and trader that you should be focused in on. If you don't know where we're at, that's because you haven't done the work yet, you know, and that's not your fault. Maybe you just weren't privy to it, right? But you are now. Go back and watch the 5 videos from last week. Understand exactly where we are today and why, because we knew ahead of time. We were prepared ahead of time. And just like we're prepared right now, you know, right on time with that perfect laser focus, matter. It's not on your time. It's on what the market's giving and showing you. Go back and watch those videos, and then you'll understand.
Conquer the markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Need a like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Flow from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
It's a taco day. It's a taco day.
Good stuff, HeadSnack. Big shout out to HeadSnack. Can you imagine the love that he went into that, making that for us? Really grateful for that. Do I think that the speculation occurring on Dogecoin can change the cycle? Look, it's not just Dogecoin that you're seeing speculation rampant, you know, NFTs, you know, individual stocks. There's an enormous amount of liquidity out there. You know, it's got to go somewhere. Housing prices, and you see it showing up in things like Dogecoin. But look, that's speculation. We're not here to speculate. I mean, Jesse Livermore, no question about it. Like, what you do with trading and investing is speculating. But when I talk about speculating, I'm talking about people who are out there gambling, right? Just taking risks. We're taking calculated risk. We are probably the most risk adverse people out there. How do you put up these type of gains being risk averse? Well, you have to be very thoughtful about what you're doing, understand what you're doing, and then you have to, you know, be very concentrated with your capital, not diversified. I don't have money to speculate on Dogecoin because, you know, the money I have is fully deployed and put to work where it matters most. You know, are people, you know, going to get hurt on Dogecoin? Yeah, there's no question about it. You know, is it possible that all of a sudden a cryptocurrency with like hyperinflationary monetary policy is going to catch on for nothing more than a joke? You know, be very careful out there. We saw that happen across the space in 2017, though. It's not anything different. It just means that we're in the bull market phase. You're seeing rampant speculation. It's going to get grotesquely worse across the board. You know, look, there are many people out there who believe in certain projects and believe that they offer a solution and or hope for a better future. That's fine, but understand what's speculating and what's not. Understand Bitcoin is a proven technology. It's not speculative technology. You know, every 10 minutes, those new blocks are produced. It was mentioned by the captain earlier. If you don't understand the protocol, take the time and understand the protocol before anything else. Yeah. Was it insider trading? No, that's what Wall Street does. You know, this is nothing else but Wall Street, you know, being Wall Street. And, you know, they hold an ICO They have some people getting on the inside ahead of time, and then as they launch the ICO, they're selling, taking profits. Are they buying more Bitcoin and or I don't know. It doesn't even matter. Why would you buy? Why would you buy Coinbase? First of all, Coinbase. I mean, how can you buy Coinbase when they just have no ethics whatsoever? It's the Facebook of cryptocurrencies. We've said that for 14, 15 months. How could you invest in something that has no ethics? And is it possible anyway in the short term, in this bull run, that it outperforms Bitcoin for a period of time? Why, of course it is. I would not be surprised at all if that occurs, like occurred over here with MicroStrategy. But in the end, when I say the end, over a period of time, Bitcoin is going to outperform. There's no question about that, in my opinion. So again, this is not the problem, but this is the fact of life right now during this bull market. And watch what happens over the next 4 or 5 months. It's going to get ridiculous, and everyone is going to be so distracted that they're not laser focused. They don't have horse brides on. They're not focused in on what matters most. It's what's going to happen. We could only try to help as many people that are willing and opening to listening, But at the end of the day, you get to make your decisions. Whether you're in a rush to lose money or you're thoughtful about it and want to crush it and make life-changing money, that's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you. I've taken so many people aside, family and close friends, and spoke to them and talked to them about the most important trade that matters and why. And if they choose not to execute and choose not to listen, that's up to them and that's on them. So, yeah, and that's the thing. That's up to you whether or not you choose, to make money off of corporations and investments that have no ethics, or those that do. And Bitcoin, I'm reading Jimmy Song's book on Bitcoin. I forgot the name of it though. But really, what I think of it is Bitcoin is fair and just money. Because that's what. Thank God for Bitcoin is the title of the book, and it's good stuff. I'm enjoying it, but it's really that it's not. It's just that it's fair and just, and in this world, which is anything but fair and just, to have a form of monetary policy that is fair and just. I mean, that's something that not only I could get behind, but I could help change the world riding the coattails of that. That's how you change the world, So, thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane. And Timur, I hope you were able to hang on to those profits. They would be one of the rare ones. Most people I know back in 2017, and a lot of people made a fortune off of altcoins, but they were not able to hold on to those profits. It's why we really focus in on the 4-year cycle. It's why I've been preparing you for ever since the Bitcoin. I told you before the Bitcoin bull market started when it was going to start, as it was starting. And then, now that we're riding into it, I'm telling you about the exit and where it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Yeah. And I hope that helps protect a lot of people who are going to get caught up in this exuberance. And that's what it is. It's just crazy exuberance, and it's just getting started. Has Dogecoin peaked, or is it going higher? Who knows? Step into a Slim Jim, Iso, I don't think that you're missing it. You could go to the Discord, at 3. I mean, you could go to the Discord, and I have a screenshot of it, Iso, and that's when I'm like, yeah, look, if you wanted to buy it, here's your chance, here's your opportunity. And if it went down to 250, you should probably buy more. But it's not that I missed the opportunity, Iso. I'm able to distinguish and call out the opportunity. It's a question of what I believe to be the best opportunity, and it's not Coinbase. It's not playing a manipulated stock in the public markets, at all. So don't get confused over there. All right. Could we see a scenario where Bitcoin gets mostly consolidated into the hands of the wealthy over time? Yeah, well, listen, there's no question that the wealthy, and again, start with that podcast by Greg Foss when he talks about all the credit markets coming into Bitcoin. I mean, the wealthy are going to be forced into Bitcoin, right? Is there ever a period in time where more wealthy people are on Bitcoin than of course? But that doesn't mean that it's not fair and just. What's not fair and just about the current fractional reserve monetary system that we have is that, first of all, money is created and attached to debt. It's created out of thin air on a fractional basis with debt attached to it. And it's just your work is inflated away. I mean, that there's nothing fair or just about it. That can't be done with Bitcoin. So regardless of who owns the Bitcoin, that doesn't take away from the fact that it's fair and just. Again, there are countless people who have come across the work that we do here, the opportunity into Bitcoin, and decided that it was not for them and that they don't want that. That has nothing to do with Bitcoin being fair or just. Is it true that probably the wealthy are going to get more into Bitcoin over time? Of course. You see it happening right now. Tesla shareholders, right? They just picked up a bunch of Bitcoin. People who were in the right trade at the right time continue to accumulate Bitcoin. That's how it's going to be. But don't confuse that with being not fair or not just. Heath, I wish I could pass this episode over to you right now and let you go into some charts over there, because I've run out of fuel. I've run out of fire. It's time for me to get back into bed and to rest over there. I'm looking at the Australian dollar, US dollar into some resistance. We're looking at that dollar weakening over here, getting above that trend line, getting above this area over here, 0.78. At that point, your horizontal resistance also out of the way. And at that point, it looks like Australian dollar could really gain some momentum. But right now, into some resistance. What is the dollar doing if I look closely at it over here, right? You could see that the dollar has peaked down into a little bit area of support. And at this point, although they're technically leaning towards way weaker side over here, circled now. But, my worry is the dollar continues to go sideways over here for a prolonged period of time. So I'm going to wait and look at it either in a day or two with fresh eyes, and we'll continue to take it from there. Same thing with FX. Tomorrow, I'll make it a point, regardless of how I'm feeling, to do a strong FX session going across all pairs, making sure that I am dialed in and getting a feel for the markets. But Zen, thank you to the moderators. Thank you to the moderators. And just once again, lots of love here for Leo, and with all our prayers, with all our love here. So thank you everyone for sharing this time together. Thanks for being here. And I think the most important thing about this session for me is just to relay to you the importance of everyone here getting it right. Yeah, I was a little, it was not nice to see on a 20% move down, too many people not have a handle of what's going on. I want everyone that follows CTM to be perfectly, let's say, not only preemptive of what could happen, but when it's unfolding, they're like predators to take advantage of it. No one to be feeling any pain or hurt whatsoever. We're too good for that, and that's that. So anyway, let's go out with some honeymoon vocals. Thank you, Martine. I look at this sending, oh, sorry about that. Hold on one second. It's time for me to start listening. Look at how important is that realization. Self-knowledge is one of the greatest gifts there ever could be. Sit down and have a talk with yourself and listen to, and just make up your mind that you're going to make concrete decisions that are going to better yourself. Stop being in a rush to do things quickly and instead be in a rush to do them correctly. You're in a great place. I'm so glad that you're here with us. It's Snow, bro. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Thank you, Amber. Luke, Tesla to Bitcoin. I mean, Andre too. I can't tell you to go in 2020. Tesla the best trade, no question about it. Those that were able to transition into Bitcoin, I mean, I applaud you resoundingly. I've had close friends who kind of accidentally got into the Bitcoin trade, changed their lives, and then got into Bitcoin at, let's call it 40,000 and then out because they just didn't understand the trade. Luke, I have a feeling that you understand the Bitcoin trade. Andreas, I know that you understand the Bitcoin trade. And that just really is, that's the sign of something special when that you're able to change your mind and get on the right side of something. That means that you have what it takes to be an investor is really important. Alan, fire thread this weekend. The most important. Forget what other nonsense was out there. Alan is all over it. I always highlight his threads, whether it's through retweeting them or liking the important posts that I really resonate with myself. The work that he puts out there is just a blessing in itself. I'm grateful for it. Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much. All right. So it was a good one. It was an important one. Each one is an important one. Some people feel like, you know what, they got it. They don't need to continue watching and what's going on. They get the gist. Not myself. The reason I do what I do each and every day with you is because that's how important it is to me. I mean, again, I'm not one of those people who's going to like diversify their portfolio, right? Diversify your portfolio if you don't know what's going on, right? But if you understand what's going on and you are making moves here, then you need to do what I do, and that's make sure that you are dialed in, as closely as that we are each and every step, every day and step of the way. We're gonna make sure that we walk away from this accomplishing what needed to be accomplished, and then preparing for more, preparing for the future. It's what we do. It's who we are. Look, just a reminder. There's going to be a narrative over here. Price is going to peak. We have a pretty good idea when it's peaking. We know we're going to get out right around the peak. And there's going to be a huge narrative about what killed the bull market. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. If this weekend didn't teach you that, then you got a lot to learn. And that's it, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for spending the time with me. May God bless you.